the World Storytelling Cafe, and it is Friday, so it is Louis' night. It is Stories for Children. Hi, Louis. And we have, as our fantastic teller, Carolyn Emmerson with a few friends of probably the woodland variety. Yes, and Mike, I'm well aware that when I said tent, I should have said yurt. But anyway, but I'm not going to rattle on for 1,000 years because I'll take up Carolyn's time, and she is amazing. So without further ado, I pass over to Carolyn Emmerson.
Thank you very much and welcome everybody. I'd like to say a special thank you before I begin to the Friends of Kelly Avenue Park who've been so encouraging of all of my efforts to get back into my storytelling after many years of looking after a friend. And so today I'm going to tell some stories which involve the magic of both tears and song. Which also are stories that were first either heard or told by me at Glastonbury Festival, when we used to travel there every year, as we will be this year. I'd also like to say hello to a very lovely little girl called Naomi in Martinique. She may not have been able to get on, but she will come and listen later if not. So we're going to start as I'm in Peckham, actually in London, in England. So I'm going to start with a couple of songs that would be familiar to people living in this part of the world. And the first one is The Owl and the Pussycat, but I'm going to sing it to the tune of Old King Cole. So, the owl and the pussycat sailed to sea in a beautiful pea green boat. They took some honey and plenty of money wrapped up in a £5 note. The owl looked up to the stars above and sang to a small guitar. Oh, lovely pussy, oh, pussy, my love. What a beautiful pussy you are, you are, you are, you are. What a beautiful pussy you are. Pussy said to the owl, you elegant fowl, how charmingly sweet you sing. Oh, let us be married too long, we have tarried, but what shall we do for a ring? They sailed away for a year and a day to the land where the bong tree grows, and there in a wood a piggy wig stood. With a ring at the end of his nose, his nose, his nose, his nose, with a ring at the end of his nose. Would you be willing to sell for 1 shilling the ring? Said a piggy, I will. So they took it away and were married next day by the turkey who lived on the hill. They dined on mince and slices of quince, which they ate with a runcible spoon. Then hand in hand at the edge of the sand, they danced by the light of the moon, the moon, the moon, the moon. They danced by the light of the moon.
Well, that was nice, wasn't it? I like that song. I'm going to tell some poems in a minute, but you're going to do one more song, aren't you?
Yes, I am, Tippity Twig. Yes, I'm going to do There was an old woman who swallowed a fly. I don't know why she swallowed a fly. Perhaps she'll die. I know an old lady who swallowed a spider that wriggled and jiggled and tickled inside her. She swallowed the spider to catch the fly, but I don't know why she swallowed a fly. Perhaps she'll die. I know an old lady who swallowed a bird. How absurd to swallow a bird. She swallowed the bird to catch the spider that wriggled and jiggled and tickled inside her. She swallowed the spider to catch the fly, but I don't know why she swallowed a fly. Perhaps she'll die. I know an old lady who swallowed a cat. Well, fancy that, to swallow a cat. She swallowed the cat to catch the bird. She swallowed the bird to catch the spider that wriggled and jiggled and tickled inside her. She swallowed the spider to catch the fly, but I don't know why she swallowed a fly. Perhaps she'll die. I know an old lady who swallowed a dog. What a hog to swallow a dog. She swallowed the dog to catch the cat. She swallowed the cat to catch the bird. She swallowed the bird to catch the spider that wriggled and jiggled and tickled inside her. She swallowed the spider to catch the fly, but I don't know why she swallowed a fly. Perhaps she'll die. I know an old lady who swallowed a goat. She just opened her throat and swallowed a goat. She swallowed the goat to catch the dog. She swallowed the dog to catch the cat. She swallowed the cat to catch the bird. She swallowed the bird to catch the spider that wriggled and jiggled and tickled inside her. She swallowed the spider to catch the fly, but I don't know why she swallowed a fly. Perhaps she'll die. I know an old lady who swallowed a cow. I don't know how she swallowed a cow. She swallowed the cow to catch the goat. She swallowed the goat to catch the dog. She swallowed the dog to catch the cat. She swallowed the cat to catch the bird. She swallowed the bird to catch the spider that wriggled and jiggled and tickled inside her. She swallowed the spider to catch the fly, but I don't know why she swallowed a fly. Perhaps she'll die. I know an old lady who swallowed a horse. She's dead, of course. So that's a sorry ending. Now, what could the moral of that story be? Don't eat too much, I think. Don't eat a horse and a cow and a goat and a dog and a cat and a bird and a spider and a fly all at once. I think that's what it means. Very good. Right, so Tibbity Twig wanted to tell you some poems, didn't you? Yes, I do. I want to tell you some poems. Oh, I think you should show them your picture you did of me and my friends, which is what this poem is about. So here we go. Can you see that? Now there's a stag beetle on there, and there's a bumblebee, and there's a ladybird, and there's me and a tree. So, and by the way, John, I loved your picture of yourself that I saw the other day. Very well done. Now, just clear my throat a little bit. Now, ladybird and tippity twig, stag beetle and bumblebee met on a branch quite by chance, very high up in a tree. Stag beetle, bumblebee, ladybird, tree all have something to say. If you go to the woods, you might be surprised if you listen to them today. That's the first one. That's called Friends. So, and now I've got one that is called, what's it called? Jumping. Yes. Yes, and I say my name in this one, just so you know it's me. Right, it goes like this. Down at the edge of the acorn woods, where the forest ends, is a brook by the river Ver, where Tippity meets his friends, that's me. Today, he's going to learn jumping with frog sisters down at the brook, under the shade of an elderly oak in a sunny little nook. First, Tippity straightened his legs. That's me again. I straightened my arms as well. That was my very first jump, and head over bottom I fell. I'd sat and I'd watched the frogs
for hours and hours and hours, sitting with bluebells and sitting with ferns and sniffing at all of the flowers. I thought I had got it right, but one thing I hadn't seen, my legs were different from froggy legs. I was more like a jumping bean. So I tried it again once more in sun and wind and rain. And one day I sprang and jumped oh so high. I did it again and again. And here's where the story ends, in a very happy place. We leave Tippity and his friends having a jumping race. That was very nice, wasn't it? That was a bit of a longer one, I think. Well, now I'm going to do one more short one before we have a story. So this short one is called Listen. Be so very quiet, be so very still. Put your head upon the ground and listen if you will. The roots, they are a-creaking, the leaves, they give a rustle, the trees, they are a-speaking, and if you stop the bustle, even for a moment, put your head right there. Listen very carefully and hear them if you dare. There's no need to be frightened. They love us very much. The oldest, wisest beings long for your gentle touch. Well, that's a beautiful poem, because now we know that trees do talk to each other, don't we? And now I'm going to just tell you, because these stories today are both about crying and singing, the magical power of crying and singing. I'm going to tell you a true story, something that happened to me in Somerset. I was walking through a very dark alleyway quite early in the morning, and up ahead of me, at the side of me, there was a wall, and on the other side was a very tall house. That's why it was so dark. So I came through out into the back garden, and there on the wall was a blackbird, and the blackbird went to fly off. So I didn't want it to fly off and be frightened by me. So I went like this, sorry, 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 like I was a bird. And the bird, the blackbird, relaxed back onto the wall and didn't look like he was going to fly anymore. And so then I sang a song. I'm going to sing you the whole song, but I didn't sing the whole song to the blackbird, and I didn't sing the words, but I'll sing you the first verse of this old English folk song. Early one morning, just as the sun was rising, I heard a maiden sing in the valley below. Oh, don't deceive me, oh, never leave me. How could you use a poor maiden so? And I sang this song because the blackbird song goes up and down, and I thought that the blackbird would like it, but I la-la'd it instead. So I went, la, but very quietly, so as not, the bird wouldn't fly away. So I went, la 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 la. La 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 la. And then I stopped. And do you know what? Birds definitely, after this, I know they love us to sing to them, because the bird started to sing his blackbird song. He opened his yellow beak and he started to sing his blackbird song back to me, but also in a quiet whisper of a voice, whereas normally the blackbird song is big and travels far. And since then, I've used this method with lots of birds. I sing to the birds. Even the shy wren will come out when I say, where are you? Where are you? So that's my little true story that I wanted to tell you. I'll tell you something else. Horses love it when you sing to them. So if you have any contact with horses, sing to them. So now we're going to have Myrtle Merriweather to join us.
This is Myrtle Merriweather, and I make all these puppets myself. And today we're going to tell a story with Myrtle Merriweather about the turtle and the coyote. And this story I first told at Glastonbury. It's a story of the Iroquois in Native American people of America. Yeah, America. And it's called The Turtle and the Coyote, but it could also be called, because I've added a little bit at the end, it could also be How the Coyote Got His Song. So I think that, yes, we will sing your song. You can sing your song later, Myrtle Merriweather, right?
So yes, I'm going to tell this story, and I hope that you're really going to enjoy it. Once upon a time, the little turtle, the river turtle, he lived in a river in America. And the Iroquois people lived in a New York state, but I don't know what the river was called. So I have to find that out at some point if I can. But it's very difficult to find out some things, even though we have the internet. Now, anyway, the Iroquois Indians, yes. So the little turtle, the river turtle, every day he was the youngest river turtle of all his brothers and his sisters and his mother and his father and his uncles and his aunties and everybody, all his friends would say every day, don't go too far away from the river. 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 Because you see, turtles need water so they can walk. If they get too dry, they can't walk. And of course, they need to swim. So it's not good for them to go too far away from the river. And the little turtle never did, until one day he got up very early in the morning and he went for a walk up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down, finding lots of delicious things to eat along the way. But he'd forgotten that the sun, you see, it was before the sun came up. It was dawn, but it was not bright and hot yet. Now turtles get very dry under hot sun. And little turtle, he went up and down and up and down and up and down, and he was enjoying himself so much he forgot where he was, until finally the sun was beating down and he felt very thirsty. And he also felt like he wanted to have a swim and cool off his shell. But sadly, when he looked back, the river was far away, and it looked like a little thread of cotton in the distance. He'd walked that far. And so he tucked himself into a little hole in a rock and he started to cry. Oh, boo-hoo. Oh, boo-hoo. Oh, boo-hoo. Well, he cried and he cried and he cried until Coyote, who was passing by, heard him. Well, Coyote liked the sound of this singing. He thought it was singing. Well, it wasn't singing, but he thought it was sounding so very nice that he went and he found the river turtle. He looked into the hole and he said, "Oh, little river turtle, please teach me to sing in that beautiful singing voice, and then I will be very happy." Well, the little turtle wasn't singing, he was crying. So he said, "Don't be silly, I'm not singing, I'm crying. Oh, boo-hoo, oh, boo-hoo." Well, Coyote did not like to be called silly, and he did want to learn the song of the turtle. And so he said,
"Little turtle, if you don't teach me to sing in that beautiful singing voice, then I shall pick you up in my mouth and I'll swallow you whole."
Well, little turtle did not want to be swallowed whole, but he also knew that Coyote wouldn't be able to swallow him whole because he had a very hard, very crusty shell. And so he said, "I don't care if you pick me up in your mouth and swallow me whole. I'm not singing. I'm crying, you big silly." Well, Coyote did not like to be called silly for a second time, but he did want to learn the beautiful turtle song. And so he said, "Little turtle, if you don't teach me to sing in that beautiful singing voice, then I will pick you up and I will throw you up into the air and let you land with a bump on the sand." Well, little turtle did not want to be thrown up in the air and land with a bump on the sand, did he? But he said, "Don't be silly. I don't care if you throw me up in the air and let me land with a bump on the sand," because he knew that he had a very hard shell. "And I don't care if you pick me up in your mouth and swallow me whole. I'm not singing, I'm crying. Oh, boo-hoo. Oh, boo-hoo." Well, Coyote did not like to be called silly for the third time. And anyway, he said so, and he did want to learn the song. And so he said, "Little turtle, if you don't teach me to sing in that beautiful singing voice, then I will pick you up. I will run with you all the way down to the river and I will throw you in with a splash." Well, little turtle knew that Coyote was a trickster, and he thought that it would be very fun to trick Coyote back. And so he really wanted to go back to the river, but he said, "I don't care if you throw me up in the air and let me land with a bump on the sand, and I don't care if you bury me in the sand, and I don't care if you pick me up in your mouth and swallow me whole. I'm not singing, I'm crying. But please, please, whatever you do, don't take me down to the river and throw me in with a splash. Please don't do that." And so Coyote picked the turtle up in his mouth and ran with him up and down across the plains all the way back to the river, and he threw Turtle in with a splash. And the little turtle swam down, and he had a lovely soak and a big long drink, and then he swam up to the surface and he said, "Mr. Coyote, Mr. Coyote." And Mr. Coyote looked at him and he said, "Mr. Coyote, I just want to thank you for bringing me back to my river home. And by the way, I wasn't singing, I was crying." Well, Coyote saw that he had been well and truly tricked, and he was very upset, and he started to cry for the first time ever. "Oh, oh, 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 oh." And he enjoyed it so much, he did it all night long. I hope you liked that story. So that is the end of that story, and I'm just going to put Myrtle Merriweather down.
Thank you very much. There we go. And up here, I'm going to now tell you a story which is from Haiti. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. I always say Haiti, but it's probably Haiti. And Haiti is in the Caribbean. It shares two countries. There's the Dominican Republic, Hispaniola, and Haiti. And oranges first came to Haiti in 1493 when Christopher Columbus took seeds from the Canary Island. So this is the story of Aneka and the orange tree. So once upon a time, a very, very, very long time ago, when oranges first came to the island of Haiti, as I've just described, there was a little girl, and sadly, very sadly, she had no mother or father to look after her, and instead lived with a wicked old aunt. And the aunt didn't like Imelda, and she made her do all of the work. And some people said that she was a witch, but the thing was, she didn't have any magic. So therefore, she wasn't really a witch. She was just a wicked old aunt. And that's not to say that all aunts are wicked, because many aunts are absolutely beautiful and wonderful. But some, obviously, we live in a world where there are many people and some are not. And in this case, the aunt was not very nice. So every day, Imelda had to do all of the sweeping. First, she swept every single room in the house. She had to make all of the beds, and she had to go into the kitchen and peel all the vegetables and do all of the cooking, stirring and stirring and stirring and stirring and stirring and stirring until she made the most delicious food for the wicked old aunt. And when she used to take the food to the aunt would eat it up like this. And the gravy would dribble down her chin and all over her clothes, and it was disgusting. And then Imelda had to do all of the washing of the dirty clothes with all of the gravy and other things on, and she'd scrub and she'd scrub and she'd scrub, because it was before the time of washing machines, I tell you. And then she would go out into the garden, and that was her favorite place to be, because in the garden, like me, she sang to the birds, and all of the animals and birds would come to her, and they would sit with her, and they would bring her things to eat, because even though she did all of the cooking, and even though the wicked old aunt would gobble up the food and think it was delicious, she only gave scraps of food to the poor girl, Annika. Now, one day, after Imelda had done all of the work she could in the garden, she came in, and there on the table was a great big bowl of oranges. And they smelt so delicious. You know how a freshly picked orange could smell. Oh my goodness. And she so wanted to eat one. She took one of the oranges and she peeled it and she broke it into the little segments that looked like little boats. And then she put it into her mouth, and it was delicious. And the juice trickled down her throat, and it was so nice. She took another segment and another and another until it was all gone. And then it was so delicious, and she was so hungry that day, and she took another orange and she peeled it and she broke it into the little segments that looked like little boats, and then she ate that one as well, segment after segment after segment after segment, until all of that orange was gone. And then she took another orange and another orange and another orange and another orange until all of the oranges were gone. Oh dear. Imelda was so upset. I will have to run away. I've eaten all the oranges. My aunt will be so angry. And she had gathered all of the pips up into her pockets, which was a good thing for later on. And she ran out of the house as fast as she could, running and running and running deep into the forest until she came to a clearing. And there she threw herself down onto the ground and she cried and she cried and she cried. Well, do you know that when you've been crying for a very long time, many things can happen. You get red eyes, you get a runny nose, you get tears everywhere like Imelda. But eventually, as happened with Imelda, her tears ran out and she lifted up her head and she could hear all the birds around her encouraging her to get up. And she got up and she saw that the ground was wet with her tears. And so she made a little hole in the ground where her tears were, and she put in one of the orange seeds that she had in her pocket. And then she sang a very special song. Orange tree, grow and grow and grow. Orange tree, grow and grow and grow. An acre's mother is not real mother. Orange tree. And as if by magic, a little shoot came out of the ground. It got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then Imelda sang another song. Orange tree, branch and branch and branch. Orange tree, branch and branch and branch. Imelda's mother is not real mother. Orange tree. And the tree branched and branched and branched and branched as if by magic. And then she sang another song. Orange tree, leaf and leaf and leaf. Orange tree, leaf and leaf and leaf. Imelda's mother is not real mother. Orange tree. And then she sang the oranges, last of all, onto the tree. Orange tree, orange and orange and orange. Orange tree, orange and orange and orange. Imelda's mother is not real mother. Orange tree. And as if by magic, oranges grew all over the tree. First, they were tiny, the size of little cherries. Then they grew bigger to the size of small apples, then bigger and bigger and bigger until they were the biggest oranges you've ever seen in your life. And first they were green. They changed from green to greeny yellow, from greeny yellow to yellowy green, from yellowy green to yellowy orange, until finally they were the loveliest, brightest orange, like they glowed like the sun. And Imelda gathered some of the oranges off the tree and made her way back to the little cottage where she lived with the wicked old aunt. Well, when she got to the pathway, she could hear her aunt, and her aunt was not pleased. Where are my oranges? I want my oranges, and I want them now. And she saw Imelda. I've brought you some more oranges. Here they are. Well, the wicked witch took one of the oranges. She ripped off the peel and she stuffed it whole into her mouth. She even swallowed the pips. And the juice dribbled down her chin and all over the floor, and it was disgusting. And then she grabbed another orange and she ripped the peel off and she stuffed that one whole into her mouth as well. And she carried on grabbing and ripping and stuffing and grabbing and ripping and stuffing and grabbing and ripping and stuffing and grabbing and ripping and stuffing until all of the oranges were gone. And you know, she hadn't learned her lesson. She hadn't missed Anaika at all. And so she looked at Anaika and she said, "Take me to the place where you found those oranges, Anaika, and take me now." Well, Anaika didn't want to take the wicked old aunt to her beautiful magical tree, but she had to. And so with a very sad heart, she walked into the woods until they came to the place where it was. And there, all the oranges all over the tree, all that the aunt could eat and more. And she went and she grabbed one of the oranges from the lower branches and she ripped the peel off and she stuffed it whole into her mouth. And she grabbed another orange and she ripped the peel off and she stuffed it whole into her mouth. And she carried on grabbing and ripping and stuffing and 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 all until all of the oranges on the bottom lot of branches were gone. And then she started to climb up the tree, grabbing and ripping and stuffing and grabbing and ripping and stuffing and grabbing and ripping and stuffing, eating all of these oranges whole and not spitting out one single pip. Well, she came to, Imelda was standing at the bottom watching. And she started to sing another song. Orange tree, grow and grow and grow. Orange tree, grow and grow and grow. Imelda, Anaika's mother, is not real mother. Orange tree. And the tree started to grow taller and taller and taller and taller. But the wicked aunt was being so greedy, she didn't even notice. She carried on climbing up the tree, grabbing and ripping and stuffing and grabbing and ripping and stuffing as she went. And when she came to the very, very top of the tree, she looked down and Anaika was the size of a weeny tiny ant. She could hardly see her at all. And still, she did not learn her lesson. And she called down to Anaika, Anaika, get me down now. I am very angry and I will make your life a misery if you don't get me down. Well, Anaika's life was already a misery, and so she sang another song. Orange tree, break and break and break. Orange tree, break and break and break. Anaika's mother is not real mother. An orange tree. And the tree broke and broke and broke and broke. And the wicked aunt came down and down and down and down and down until she landed bang on the ground. And her wickedness had been so bad that the earth opened up and swallowed her whole, and she was never seen again. And serve her right. It's okay to do bad things sometimes. We all make mistakes. Sometimes we might be horrible to each other, but people who never learn their lesson will hopefully get what they deserve. So anyway, Imelda was not very happy now, because on the ground in pieces was her beautiful orange tree. But then she looked at closer. And even though the wicked aunt had swallowed most of the pips, when the juice was dribbling down her chin and all over her clothes and all over the trees, branches and everywhere, some of the pips had escaped. And so Anaika picked up all of the pips and she planted them far and wide. And from that moment on, she lived happily ever after in her beautiful little cottage by the side of the great forest in Haiti. So, how much longer do I have?
About 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
You've got a song. You've got a
well,
song length, haven't you?
I had some other things to tell, but it's gone so quickly. So what we'll do is we'll get Tippity Twig back. I've got a couple of poems that won't take too long. So this is about my friends, the trees. So what's the first line? I've just forgotten. Hold on a minute. The trees of England, tall and strong, have been standing oh so long. Join us as we sing our song. Long live the trees. Bees feed more on trees than flowers, sipping sap for hours and hours. They nest in holes in woodland bowers. Long live the trees. High up on branches, birds build nest to lay their eggs for chicks to rest, and fledglings put their wings to test. Long live the trees. Trees clean the air, they help us breathe, make air smell nice and stop disease, ease choke and wheeze, give gentle breeze. Long live the trees. And the one last little poem, because I think I've got 1 minute. And my last poem is this. It's not listen, it's which one am I doing? I'm doing the one, oh yes. Whenever I'm sad and I want to be glad, I go and I be in the woods. When I want to be calm, get away from the harm, I go and I be in the woods. If I'm feeling all snappy and I want to be happy, I go and I be in the woods. And if I want to sing out, want to whistle and shout, I go and I be in the woods. Because the woods is my favorite place to be living. And when I am there, the trees never stop giving. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you, and friends.
Thank you.
And Louis, did you enjoy that? Louis on
Thank you.
Thank you, Louis.
And I did.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. That's very, very nice to hear and to see your beautiful face again. Where are you, Louis? Where in the country are you?
We are in Stanford.
Stanford.
Stanford in Lincolnshire.
Okay.
And we are now on the way to Oakham to my amazing swimming lesson.
Ah, lovely. Well, that's nice.
And it's in Oakham School 1. That's it. That's it.
Well, thank you, Louis.
Thank you, Louis.
Thank you.
That's all done.
And thank you, Waleed, for flying the magic carpet as usual.
Thank you.
He's now got back from Mongolia to Marrakesh.
Yes.
And thank you, Mike and Michelle and Robin and Jules and everyone who came to listen, and everyone who's watching on Facebook and everything else. What's coming up? What is coming up is Sunday, 6 o'clock, is our worldwide story round, hosted by Mike Russ. So everyone is welcome to come to that and tell a story. It's an open mic. And Tuesday, of course, at 5 o'clock in the evening, we have all these are UK times, British summertime. On Tuesday at 5 o'clock in the evening, we have our young international tellers. So anyone under the age of 25 can come on and tell a story. That doesn't include you, Mike. Fakti, you are. I know you are under 25 in your mind, as I am. And then next Friday we have the amazing Dawn Ellis. So well, for now, can we have one more round of applause for Carolyn Emmerson and friends? Thank you, Carolyn. See you at Glasgow. Right, bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Not
See you
all.
soon.
See you
See you
soon.
soon. Bye.
Bye.